everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the Dodger Warm-Up Show, preceding the exhibition game between the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers here in Monterrey, Mexico. Yes, the Dodgers in Mexico. That's the story. And on today's show, you'll have a chance to visit with Fernando Valenzuela, coming back to his home country. And we'll also have a chat with broadcasters Jaime Jarrin and Rene Cardenas about baseball in Central America. All of that coming up, starting with the chat with Fernando right after this.
The Dodgers pregame show is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
That, I would think, Fernando, would be a dream come true.
Yes, it's great for me because long time I don't play in Mexico, but about 10 years, and really it's a great opportunity for me now to go back to Mexico and pitch over there against Mexican fans, and really it's great for me.
Yes, and it's great for the country that people are really looking forward to seeing you in uniform. But let's go way back when it first started, when Fernando Valenzuela was a little boy in Echejoquia in the Navajo. When did you first remember playing baseball? About how old were you?
Well, I think it's about 8 or 9 years old, and we play in the school. We have a chance to play every day before or after the school. So, and really we play, sometimes we have a real baseball, literally baseball, but sometimes we use another kinds of the balls we make, with the stream. So any kind we find to make a baseball. And really, I like this sport for a lot, and I think it's just great sport, the baseball, and I play. So I remember, and really, it's great, and now, and playing a big league is a dream.
Sure it is. When you were 8 or 9, that's a great time to dream anyway. Did you possibly ever see yourself, me, Fernando Valenzuela, pitching in the big leagues?
Never.
No.
Never. All the time I try to do, and every day playing, and final, I'm passed, from the amateur to the professional, and really, right there I try to do the best every day, and try to do a little bit better each time. So, but when I have that age, 8 or 9, I never dreamed to have the opportunity to play in a big league.
Were you always a pitcher as a little boy, or did you play any and every position?
I played 2 or 3 another positions. One time, everybody want to catch, so I have to catch. And just the only time I catch, I think that's a tough position, catching. And I play first base and right field, and pitching sometimes.
Were you always a pretty good hitter?
Well, I like to hit, and it's great to feel when I hit the ball, and really it's great. I like to hit, and when I'm little, just as I do, and I don't want to pitch, just want to hit the ball.
Fernando Valenzuela and the Screwball, they go together. Did you throw a screwball when you were a little boy, or was it not until you met Bobby Castillo many years ago?
No, never. First time I threw a screwball when in '79 with Bobby Castillo go to Arizona Instruction League, and he teach me how to hold the ball, and I think that's the pitch, give me the chance to pitch in a big league.
Sure.
And I'm very fortunate to learn that pitch, and I want to thank Bobby for having time and teach me that pitch. But before I never throw that pitch.
When you were a professional ball player in Mexico, did you play in Monterrey? Have you been to Monterrey before?
Well, before the Dodgers signed me, I played in the Mexican League, Summer League, and I played a couple times in Monterrey, and it's a great city, and the fans love it. They like the baseball, and really right now when I find out, that I just go play 2 games over there, and I can't wait to go on over there, and it's a good chance for me to go back over there and remember those times.
When you played as a professional, was there much of a difference between the Mexican and the major leagues, living and everything else about it?
Yeah, a lot of different. The baseball is no matter what level you play, but it's the same. But I think the big league is the best. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of difference, and I think everybody want to play in the big league because that's the top and the best. But I think everybody has to pass for the. In my case, has to pass for the Mexican League first and learn something about the baseball, and then prepare a little bit for this time in the big league.
Well, you've been a great role model for all the kids in Mexico and the United States and Los Angeles, and for all of that, muchas gracias, amigo.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Fernando, we'll be back. Since the Dodgers are playing in Monterrey today in Mexico for the first time, I thought it would be kind of interesting to chat with 2 of my dearest friends in this business, Jaime Jarrin and Rene Cardenas, and the subject would be Mexico, baseball here in Central and maybe even Latin America. Jaime, first of all, you were the advance man for this trip to Monterrey, Mexico. I wonder if you'd tell us a little bit about the background.
Yes, it was my pleasure to represent the Dodgers and Mr. Peter O'Malley on a press conference the last 28th of February, along with Mr. Selig of the Brewers. We went to Monterrey and we had a press conference there that was very well attended. I think it was very successful. Then I went to the ballpark to check the facilities. I know that the commissioner's office sent over there a couple of guys to check the conditions of the field after what happened in Puerto Rico, remember, with Mike Davis. Mm-hmm. So everything is fine, a nice ballpark. Monterrey is all excited about those 2 games, the 16 and 17. They are treating those games like a World Series, really.
Now, I can understand the Dodgers and Fernando going to Mexico, but 2 big questions. Number 1, why Monterrey? And number 2, why the Milwaukee Brewers?
Well, Monterrey is a big city. I think they love baseball like any other city in Mexico, probably. Also, Monterrey has a working agreement with the Brewers. They have had that for 9 years now. And also the fact that the brewery in Mexico, the number 1 brewery in Mexico, the Cuauhtémoc Brewery, is celebrating their 100-year anniversary. So they wanted to have something as big as these 2 games there as the highlight of their celebration. So I think they have been working for the last 2 years, because this is going to be the first time that 2 major league clubs are going to play in Mexico. The last time was the Dodgers in 1964 in Mexico City.
Now, what about the ballpark? You went through it. Is it double-decked, and does it remind you of a big league ballpark, or exactly what's it like?
I would say that's the most beautiful ballpark in Latin America. That was opened up last July. The capacity of the ballpark is 28,000 people. They were thinking of adding for these 2 games probably 2 or 3 rows behind right field and center field and left field, probably to go up to 30,000 people, 29 to 30,000 people. It's a very well-built ballpark, has even luxury boxes with television on each one. It's a 2-decker. It's a very, very nice. Of course, it's a brand new, and the conditions of the field are fine.
And the Monterrey team is in the major leagues of Mexico?
Yes, they support 2 teams. They support the Industriales, the team that was born 2 years ago. The manager of the Industriales is the great Héctor Espino, and also the Sultanes. The Sultanes has been existence for many, many years. That's where Roy Campanella used to play, remember? And they play in the Summer League of Mexico.
Well, we'll be visiting with Jaime and also with Rene Cardenas. We'll have a lot more coming up right after this. The Dodgers in Mexico. We're visiting with Jaime Jarrin and Rene Cardenas. And Rene, you have a lot of experience broadcasting baseball in Central America. You started in Managua, Nicaragua.
That is correct. I started in 1946 in Managua, Nicaragua, and from 46 to 50, I had the opportunity to travel to many other countries to broadcast international tournaments. I went to Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Costa Rica, and Panama. And they all played baseball. But Nicaragua was always ahead because baseball in Nicaragua is just like here. Everybody likes it, and they call it national pastime.
In your experience in broadcasting in Central America, did you ever broadcast baseball in Mexico?
Oh, yes. I was invited by the Sultanes of Monterrey, by the brewery, Cuauhtémoc Brewery, many years ago. I would say about 15 years ago, to broadcast the All-Star Game in Mexico.
I see. So they really have a baseball program in Mexico. They have their own major leagues, minor leagues, All-Star Game, and I assume World Series.
Yes, they do have their series, but the most important thing in Mexico, that's the only country in the world that play baseball the whole year round. They have two leagues. One that starts at the beginning of the year, and the other one starts at the end of the year. So the ball players move from one league to the other league, and they play 12 months a year.
That's a question then. The Dodgers are very early in spring training. The Mexican teams that they are playing, the Industriales, where are they? Are they in spring training too at this stage of the year?
I believe so. I understand that I believe they start a little later than we use, but their season is a little bit shorter also. And they had two ball clubs that Jaime mentioned. The Sultanes has been the very old baseball club in Mexico, and the Industriales is a brand new ball club. And they don't play a long spring like we do. It's a short one because they don't need it. You see, they play the whole year round.
I see. Do they have restrictions on American ball players? In other words, in most countries, you're allowed to have 1, 2, 3, whatever. Do they have the same thing in Mexico?
They do have that restriction in order to assure that they're going to be able to develop their own talent.
It must be a big thrill for you and Jaime to be broadcasting from Mexico back to the United States. And I guess your broadcast is going to be heard not only in Mexico and Southern California.
Well, I heard that the Mexicans now, they have asked the Dodgers that they can hook up with our broadcast so they can have our own format into Mexico and wherever they're going to send it.
Wow. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. Just a little behind-the-scenes conversation with two of our good buddies, Jaime Jarrin and Rene Cardenas, baseball in Mexico and in Central America. We'll have more right after this. So it's been nice chatting with Fernando Valenzuela about his days growing up here in Mexico, and with Jaime and Rene talking about the impact of baseball in Central America. As soon as the ball game is over, the Dodgers will be flying back to their home base in Vero Beach, Florida. And a reminder, the next time we're talking to you on Fox Channel 11, it will be from New Orleans, the Superdome, where the Dodgers will be playing the Oakland A's. That's next week. Then the Dodgers will eventually wrap up spring training in Florida, come home for the traditional weekend series with the California Angels, Friday night at Dodger Stadium, Saturday and Sunday in Anaheim. And then it's off to opening day, and that will be in Atlanta on April the 9th, Tuesday evening. The Dodgers then will come home for their traditional opening day Friday afternoon the 12th. Remember, there are plenty of seats for April 13th and 14th at Dodger Stadium with San Diego, and then we'll really find out about the 1991 season. So that's our pregame show for today. Stay tuned now for exciting Dodger baseball from Mexico, the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers. Yesterday got a standing ovation, and of course his Mexican friends will really be rooting for him today. For Milwaukee, it'll be a 4-game winner. Chris Bosio had trouble with a sore arm last year, a 15-game winner the previous season. So Fernando Valenzuela, bienvenidos to Mexico. His first visit to Monterrey in 1979, and we're delighted to be along to tell you the story. We'll have the starting. It's somewhere between 3.5 and 4 million people. And the stadium that will host today's game between the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers was opened last July. So it's a brand new stadium, seating about 28,000, maybe a few more with standing room only. And they are here for one reason. They want to see Fernando Valenzuela. Young Fernando, who was only 3.5 years old when the Dodgers last played in Mexico, that was 1964. Fernando saying before the game he does not have any relatives here. It is easier for his relatives from Navajoa to go up to Los Angeles than it is to journey all the way over to Monterrey. Here's the Milwaukee lineup, the way they will stack up with a record of 1-9. Mike Felder in center field, and old friend Willie Randolph at second base. Gary Sheffield at third. Greg Brock in the cleanup spot at first. Greg Vaughn will be in left field. Dale Swim will be the shortstop. Mickey Brantley in right field. Tim McIntosh, the catcher, and Chris Bosio, a 4-game winner last year, having had 1 full year of arm troubles. For the Dodgers, Brett Butler opening up in center field, and Mike Sharperson at first. Eddie Murray hit a ball on his foot yesterday, so Sharperson playing first base today. Lenny Harris at third, and Chris Gwynn in the cleanup spot in right. Darryl Strawberry might make a pinch hitting appearance. Mike Socha behind the plate. Juan Samuel at second base. Henry Rodriguez, whose home run broke a 1-1 tie yesterday, will be in left field. Alfredo Griffin, the shortstop, and Fernando, a 13-game winner last year, wearing the Dodger blue and white in Mexico. What a story. Mike Felder, the center fielder, will start it off, and the first one's a strike. Before the game, Fernando got a standing ovation, as did Teddy Higuera, who was supposed to pitch today. Teddy's from Mexico, from Sinaloa. However, with a sore arm, Higuera was unable to make an appearance. So instead, he went out to the mound and spoke to the crowd, explaining his problems and why he couldn't pitch today. Felder, Randolph, and Sheffield, the way the Brewers stack up. The Brewers last year were a 6th place club, won 74 games. So Fernando Valenzuela from Echehoquia in Sonora comes back to Monterrey, Mexico, and misses down and away 2-2. Monterrey, the mountains of the king. Fernando working on the third base side of the rubber, as he always does, and he bounces one to go 3-2. Although there is a tremendous air of festival here, and everyone knows that it is only an exercise as we look out at the mountain with what they refer to as the saddle in the mountain. Monterrey pretty much ringed by beautiful mountains, and big ones. Some of them are as high as 18,000 feet. 3-2 the count to the leadoff man, Mike Felder. Breaking ball hit under Fernando's glove, deflected to Griffin, who throws him out. And Fernando will get an assist, and we have one away. Fernando has come a long way from being the kid out of Echehoquia. In 11 years with the Dodgers, he's in the top 10 in many of the Dodgers' all-time pitching categories. And of course, we'll never forget 1981, Fernando Mania. He took the National League by storm, becoming the first player to win the Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young Awards in the same season. Here's Willie Randolph. Randolph, who made one stop in Los Angeles in his career, taps to third, and Lenny Harris takes care of him. So 2 down in the first inning, and the batter is Gary Sheffield. For the Dodgers to be in Mexico is certainly nothing new. The Dodgers, more than any other team, I'm sure, active in the advancement of baseball internationally. They've been to Mexico before. They played in Cuba, Japan, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic. And Peter O'Malley has been very active indeed. In March of last year, Peter went to Taipei in Taiwan for the inauguration of professional baseball. In 1990, he went to Guangzhou in China for baseball. There's a shot into left field. So Gary Sheffield, a 2-out single to left, and the batter will be another former Dodger, Greg Brock. Also in 1990 and going back to 1989, Peter O'Malley attended ceremonies for the opening of baseball in several countries, including a trip to Russia, where he helped open up the first baseball field in the Soviet Union. The Dodgers invited the chief operating officers of the Korean Baseball Organization to Los Angeles in May of 1990. Rocky, and it is magnificent. And it is the #1 delicacy. The expression down here is you can't go to Monterrey without having cabrito. And there it is, barbecued goat. 1991. Old Glory on the left, the Mexican flag on the right, and Dodgers. Out to thank our good friends going right to left. Closest to the camera would be Rene Cardenas, and talking on microphone right now to his right and left on the picture, Jaime Jarrin, along with Dave Vanderwalker, our producer, beyond Jaime. And our thanks especially to Rene and Jaime for kind of filling us in on a few things about the beautiful city of Monterrey in Nuevo León. Meanwhile, enjoyed today's telecast, even to the fans with the styrofoam cups. There's always something new if you look for it. It's been a lot of fun. The Dodgers win today, and now it's time for us to say adios and vaya con Dios as the Dodgers beat the Milwaukee Brewers 6-1.